Coach Life. Okay, this is probably going to sound a little crazy, but bear with me. I just realized it's all about relationships when you're going forward. It's all about relationships when you're dealing with people and nature and yourself. It's all about relationships. And I just realized in my class, I emphasize resonance. It's probably like the word that it's our pillar. And I just realized relationships is just another word for resonance. Like the Rita Pearson, Every Child Needs a Champion video. If you haven't watched it, watch it. It's a TED Talk, I know, but Every Child Needs a Champion, Rita Pearson, watch it. I'm telling you, but it's all about relationships. She uses an example where one teacher that she was working with, the school year had just begun or something, and she said, my job is to teach the students, their job is to learn it. I don't need to be their friend, case closed. And Miss Pearson said, kids don't learn from people they don't like. And she said, that's a bunch of hooey. And she said, needless to say, she had a long and arduous year. I believe that was an exact quote. But she told a beautiful story about her mother passing, and she was a lifelong educator. And the number of people who were at her funeral in a general capacity was overwhelming for her. She wasn't even crying because her mother was gone. She was crying because of how many people, or she was moved by how many former students were there. And again, it's just all about relationships. So now that I'm at a point where I want to make sure I'm giving my life force to the right, not just institution, but to the right relationships. And I'm realizing it's not really up to me. I'm just there's so much of life that's like, okay, do the best you can, line it up, logic, reason, effort. And then there's also just like so much life, which is like, it doesn't matter how hard you try or how smart you are. This is the energy that creates worlds, creating worlds. Fall back, youngin'. There's a learning curve to this thing. And, I'm 41 years old, and what I learned yesterday is probably more than what I learned in all of my life. And that was just yesterday. So imagine what I'm going to learn today. And that's kind of the trajectory. It's hard to imagine because it's hard to imagine infinity, right? So I have a big meeting coming up. It's going to be very emotional. Battle in the Bluffs is going on. If I would have remembered, I would have booked it a little later or something like that. But I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad to get clarity. But again, it's one of those moments where no matter how hard you work, no matter how hard you prepared, no matter how much you studied, no matter how smart you are naturally, it does not matter. It's one of those moments where in life there's a lot of them. And it's just, I wish somebody would have really explained that to me with clarity. Like, there's a lot that you're just not going to have control over. So do your best to handle what you can, and also learn how to let go. Learn how to let go. And specifically with relationships, there's a lot that we put on it out of our own fear and insecurity. It's like, well, really, you just have this bond.